We are against the practice of enlisting persons who have proven cases of criminality or even terrorism. In addition to that, let us use the opportunity of this press conference to say that we believe that it is high treason for the president of the federation, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, to continue with the unlawful practice of his immediate predecessor, Muhammadu Buhari, who started the program of so-called de-radicalization and rehabilitation of what they call repentant terrorists. There's nothing like repentant Boko Haram. Once you're a terrorist, you are a terrorist. If you're a terrorist and you are involved in any proven or alleged, like in the case of this guy that we're talking about, the allegations is that he was a bandit before he was recruited into the police. And when they made inquiry in the IRT, they were told by the topmost commander in that place, according to the allegation, that they were told that he has been rehabilitated. Who rehabilitated a bandit? The police rehabilitated a bandit? Under which program? So that's what we're saying. The IG should tell Nigerians, does the police run a program of rehabilitating bandits and enlisting them into the police force? Is it constitutional for persons to be arrested based on the fact that they are Fulanis, or based on the fact that somebody just get to the police and said, I know that this guy is a bandit or a kidnapper, and now the police, you go and pick up the person and lock him up. You don't have any evidence. You have not charged the person to court, and you keep the person in detention for days. And sometimes even the court system in Nigeria, maybe due to some kind of deformity in the legal system that allows magistrates to legally allow police to detain citizens of the country beyond reasonable time that the Constitution specifies. You keep people in detention under allegations that they are bandits, and you refuse to grant them administrative bail, and you refuse to charge them to court. We are demanding that the police under the IG, if it's the IG we know, we don't know anything like IRT or whatever, but the people are being kept by the IRT. That brings us to the issue of what do you call the last squad of police that led to nationwide protest, SARS. We are raising alarm that SARS is still in existence. It's just like SARS has not been abolished. SARS was only rebaptized. SARS underwent a baptism and got a change of name because the police still maintain detention facilities and they still maintain the modus operandi, the operational modalities of SARS. They are intact. We're only using this case of these two brothers that have been arrested from Kakargo as a point of contact. But cases abound in so many parts of the country where you have detention facilities being run by police. If you are in doubt of it, go to Anambra State or ask any of your colleagues who covers any of your reporters that is in Anambra State to tell you about the former SARS office somewhere in Oka, somewhere within Oka environment, or somewhere in Anambra. There's a particular notorious SARS detention facility in Anambra that is still being maintained till tomorrow. There was even allegations that there were human organ trafficking that took place. Unfortunately, even with all the media reports, nobody makes any deliberate effort to investigate, and there's no follow-up of any case. The case of that human organ trafficking in that Anambra Police Command has been swept under the carpet. The whistleblower, the copper whistleblower who raised the alarm, they threatened to kill him. He ran away to a neighboring country. The police went and arrested him and said he was what they say was an impersonator or whatever. He was a copper with the police. He found out that things were going on in the police that were not proper, that people are being killed extrajudicially in detention facilities. You may look at it like, these people are just exaggerating. Maybe because as a journalist, you've not had a brother who has been detained. But fortunately, all of us who are media practitioners have experienced that. One of us who was in Abuja here, Segun Olatunji, was a reporter when I was a reporter in Guardian. Segun was picked Because he wrote a story against the chief of something intelligence who works with the chief of defense staff. I have been threatened. The reason why I have not been kidnapped yet is because they know the kind of international repercussions it may have for them, or they have their own reason why they have not done that. Because we were openly threatened by even the chief of defense, the defense headquarters, that HURIWA and Ongu people were going to take you to court. I said, well, no, the army is actually talking about taking somebody to court. Then it's good. You go to court, I will also appear in court with my own lawyer, you understand? But they didn't tell that journalist, they didn't give him that privilege of telling him I will take you to court. They went to his house and kidnapped him. So that is the reason why when we got hint of this particular case, no matter what, even if those people are Fulanis, and some of us have been victims of attacks by suspected armed headers. But that is not the reason why you should have ethnic profiling in policing. So we are calling for an investigation into the operations of IRT. We are calling for an investigation by the IGP and the National Assembly. The IGP investigation may not be far-reaching enough, and the Police Service Commission, as long as we are concerned, is dead on arrival. Police Service Commission, if some of you report the police, you can take it from us, you can take it from me, you can quote me, if you are quoting me now, you are quoting HURIWA, and we're ready to defend our words anywhere. Police Service Commission is dead because Police Service Commission is supposed to have council members. One of them is even supposed to be one of you that is practicing as a journalist or somebody who is an NGO community like us. One of the representatives of media is supposed to be there, or NGO and the rest of them. You're supposed to have 8 commissioners, the Police Service Commission. 90% of those commissioners, their tenure have expired. The president is not in a hurry to appoint anybody. Maybe nobody wants to go and work in Police Service Commission because it's something that concerns the police. The politicians are not jumping into it because there's no contract. There's no big money. Just like how we served in the Human Rights Commission. I served as a national commissioner because there was no money. People were not too much interested in hustling for it. You understand? Today, the reason why I'm bringing up this issue is that if Police Service Commission is in existence, it is Police Service Commission that would have been telling journalists to put pressure on Police Service Commission in addition to the petition we are going to send to them. Because if you send a petition and you don't bring it to the media, they won't act on it. It's only usually when they see or hear things in the media that they begin to react. It's not true, but I'm telling you, based on our investigation, that this allegation that this guy who implicated the 2 sons of the Emir of Gagariko is being alleged by most prominent people in that community, including a very top-ranking government official that we know in Abuja here. That is our friend. He volunteered an information that guy is he's a bandit because he committed a crime like 6 months ago and he disappeared. He has not been caught for that crime. He disappeared and appeared the next time with the police to arrest the 2 sons of the Emir after he threatened that he was going to come back to arrest those two guys. Those 2 guys are just local guys. When you see somebody 2 sons of Emir, it doesn't mean that maybe they're riding flashy car in Kaduna or in Lagos or Abuja here with us. They are local people. They are sons of the Emir. But they're local people, local traders in their community, Kagarko. I grew up in Southern Kaduna, so I know Kubacha, all these Kagarko, and I know this is very well because we are all going to all these local markets. So those guys are just local traders, but local traders does not mean that they are poor. There are traders in those environments like Kachia, where they do ginger business. Ginger business is a multi-billion-dollar business. Some of these local traders in those localities, you may go into their accounts and find huge sums of money in their savings. It doesn't mean that they have gone to do anything wrong. But if you're into ginger business, you're into precious stone business in those local areas, it doesn't really mean that somebody would have committed a crime in order for him to prove that he is entitled to some amount of money. And in fact, investigations have been done. There's no proof anywhere to show that those guys have incomes that far outweigh what they should have as ginger traders in their locality. We are challenging the police. Take these boys to the court. Take them to court if you have a case against them. You don't have the right to keep somebody in your detention facilities under dehumanizing conditions for weeks. And we are calling for the necessary amendments to the law so that Magistrates shouldn't have the power to go against the constitution. A magistrate to say, EFCC, go and detain this person for 30 days. They do that. EFCC, you find out that EFCC will arrest somebody, and before you know it, they keep going to court to obtain court order, ex parte order. Ex parte order is the kind of order they obtain behind you. It's somebody going to get something against you by ambush. So we need to do a lot of work when it comes to law enforcement and constitutionalism in Nigeria. Allegations that are made by certain persons that the police enlist as informants. We are concerned by an information we got from a community in Kaduna State that is called Kagarko. That community is a community of a lot of individuals from different nationalities. But Kagarko is more or less, I think, a local government area, but there are smaller towns that make up that local government area where you have different indigenous groups, ethnic groups, including the Fulanis. They have a Fulani emir. Then there's this particular individual that has been accused of involvement in several cases of armed banditry. This individual was in the press statement I'm going to circulate to you. The name of that very individual is there, but I'll read a part of the petition that was sent to the IG of police by the law firm of Yakubu Mekel. Yakubu Mekel is the president of the Nigerian Bar Association. Then there's a letter from the Emirate Council from Kadarko. The reason why we got involved is that there is a case of ethnic profiling. We want to warn the police, in as much as so many cases in the past, particularly during the administration of the immediate past government of Muhammadu Buhari, who virtually tolerated the emergence of a Fulani militia, but we shouldn't just run into hasty conclusion that every Fulani person participated in those criminal activities of that tiny minority among that particular ethnic nationality. This individual himself is also a Fulani, the guy who has been accused of being a bandit, who later surfaced in that community because there's an allegation that he was involved in a banditry. They invaded the home of the emir of Kagarko and kidnapped his young wife. Some of these emirs, when they no longer have those, emirs, of course, Muslims are allowed to marry, as many wives as they want. If there's a need for them to marry younger wives, they can marry that will take care of certain things at home. The younger wife of the emir was kidnapped alongside his grandchildren, but before they left the house, I think the emir's wife was also a Fulani lady. So she spoke Fulani to one of the grandchildren that were being taken away by those bandits, and they quickly released her. Because I don't want to really bother you so much with explanation of how whether those grandchildren were married by Hausas or other indigenous groups that made the kidnappers to release the youngest wife of the emir, because they were afraid of their identities being uncovered. But one of those kidnappers who invaded the home of this emir of Kakarko was arrested by the people and lynched to death. Normally, when some of this criminality used to happen, if you find a terrorist within your environment and they're trying to kidnap people, and they're apparently armed and have actually even used guns and everything to terrorize the people, most times you find that people also have spontaneous actions. If you find somebody who wants to kill somebody in your house, or somebody wants to kill you, You have the right to defend yourself, even if it means taking away the life of that person who wants to kill you. It is legally permitted. So one of the kidnappers was killed. Some of them escaped with the children into the bush, and for a very long time negotiations were going on. The emir had to pay like 20 million to get those grandchildren out of that place. But eventually they made that one of those who participated in the actual kidnapping was one of them in that community. When it was found out that he was the one, he disappeared from the place and started threatening the emir on phone. They said he was calling the emir on phone that he's going to return to us. And when I return, your two children will definitely not return again, since you guys don't want to allow us to you understand. So they said the guy disappeared, and the next thing he did was to reappear with security forces from the IRT. There is a unit within the police that is called IRT, I think Intelligence Response Unit. It's just like the IG of police has so many units set up, like where you have CIDs and all these things, different groups. When they want to send police people to for specific assignments, IG can set up specific squads to do that. So this team is called IRT. One of those who came in the name of arresting. But they said when they appeared in the village, they didn't show evidence of arrest warrant. And one of those people who came for the arrest was masked. The people were able to resist. Initially, they were able to resist the arrest by removing the mask from one of those police people that came. Because when you have a lot of people in the crowd, if you have 3 policemen carrying gun, they can't kill everybody and run away. So they were actually overwhelmed. But they managed to remove the mask of the guy and saw that it was that guy from their community who is an alleged bandit that came with the police, which means he has carried out the threat that he told the emir on the phone, which the emir reported to all relevant authorities, including the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State. The guy actually came to Abuja, IRT Abuja here to allege that the 2 sons of the emir were kidnappers. They took them away, and for over 10 days, those people have not been charged to court. There are no evidence to show that the police has any credible information linking the 2 sons of that emir to any case of kidnap. And to make the whole thing very, very intriguing, they were able to find out because we found a way of planting ourselves into the whole process. And it happened that the guy had already even been recruited into the police. A bandit who hasn't been prosecuted for his alleged crimes, finding himself into a police force and organizing an arrest trip to Kagarko to arrest the 2 children of the emir. And this is not the first time that there have been allegations of either repentant Boko Harams getting enlisted into the army. It is a fact that certain persons who are assumed to be repentant Boko Haram in the army is even somehow structured, even though Human Rights Association of Nigeria is strongly against any practice of organizing what you call rehabilitation program for terrorists. It is unlawful. If you capture a terrorist, or even if a terrorist surrenders himself, you have to get that terrorist to go through the to face the full weight of the law. So this is just the names of those 2 sons of the emir who were taken away by the police in Abuja here under the IRT team is Mustafa Buhari Aliyu and Aliyu Buhari Aliyu. These two persons, the community, of course their father is the emir, the community, the council, emirate council and the rest of them, everybody in their community have already written to the police to say, we know these people are not kidnappers, and these are the insider stories that we know. Now the police has not charged these people to court, even with the involvement of a very senior lawyer like Yakubu Mekel, who is the president of Nigerian Bar Association, these two persons are still being kept. And there was an allegation that we got that what was actually happening is that they usually pinpoint rich Fulani people in that community where the police will just come and pick them one by one. When they now, a lot of people don't know their human rights. Sometimes, if they don't have parents or have brothers who have what it takes to hire lawyers or to get the attention of Nigerians through the media, like we're doing now, if they don't have the reach to even inform NGOs or to inform anybody who is in the media who knows about what is happening, that is the reason why we called for this press conference to task the IG of police to investigate the allegation that IRT recruited a well-known bandit, an alleged bandit by name Mohammed Sani Dahatu. The IG must investigate if Mohammed Sani Dahatu is a recruit into the police, because that's the allegation we got. If you as journalists make a call to IRT, I do not think if they can tell you anything. Well, the petition is here written by the president of the Nigerian Bar Associations, and we were informed, and we also carried out our own due diligence. That's where most of the things we found out are not even actually written here. These are just official kind of statements, but we are giving you the insider information. But the reason why we're saying this is that the IRT, all law enforcement agencies, the Nigerian Army, the Nigerian Air Force, the Nigerian Navy, or what do you call this other one, the Civil Defense, all these other agencies of the federal government that are involved in one way or the other in protecting national security of Nigerians